Hey guys, my name is Amy and I think I'm bisexual. It all began about 2 weeks ago when I was on a double date. Jake, my boyfriend, and another couple were at an escape room. If you haven't been to an escape room before, it's a lot of fun. Basically, you're like locked inside of this room, obvious, and there's all these puzzles and mysteries that you kind of have to figure out to get out within an hour. Anyways, our mystery story was themed around a jail. We'd been blackmailed for murder. Room 1 was our jail, and we had to get out of that room. Room 2 was the crime scene, which we had to prove that we were blackmailed. We were split up into teams and were supposed to be working as couples. Me and Jake were supposed to be working on one puzzle and Bianca and Gerald on another. However, at the last second, Bianca decided that girls against guys, we should form a team. It was really challenging. And by that, I don't mean the escape room. I mean, I found it challenging because I actually really enjoyed being with Bianca. I think I liked being around her more than Jake. She was really funny, and she was so great at finding clues. She was super clever at figuring out all these puzzles, and I guess I was kind of attracted to her. I realized that she and I had more in common than Jake. He's a nice and funny guy, but he's got flaws like everybody else, and so do I. But here I was in this fake prison, feeling like I was jailed in our relationship, and I wanted to break free. Maybe actually being in a fake jail helped me bring these feelings to the surface. Anyways, when we made it to the next room, the crime scene, admittedly, I made it into a scene of a crime, a personal one with no relation to law. The boys were off working on some other puzzle, and I felt myself wanting to be closer to Bianca. She was putting pieces of a puzzle together to try to make a big picture, and I found myself wanting to reach behind her, put my hands on her hands. I'd never felt feelings like this before. Meanwhile, the guys were trying to put together some other clues and forming them in the shape of phallic objects. The guys were making stupid jokes, and again, I'm not saying that Jake is a bad guy. It's typical dude stuff. But he was joking about, why do we have to prove we're not black males? Oh my God. Black male is not the same as being a black male. So dumb. I realized maybe I just am not attracted to male humor because I'm not attracted to males. As Bianca was muttering the puzzles under her breath, I found myself watching the way her lips moved. I couldn't take my eyes off of her. The whole rest of the escape room, I was shook. I didn't know really what to think. Oddly enough, we actually solved the mystery and got out of the room, but I was left with a much bigger mystery on my hands, and that is, am I bi? Since the whole thing, I've left Jake, because I guess I've decided that if I'm bi or straight or whatever, no matter the case, he and I just aren't meant to be. In the meantime, I don't know if this is a passing phase or what, but I'm really attracted to Bianca. But she's still in a relationship, and I've got to respect that. And I have no idea if she would even have feelings for me. Although, I'd like to think so. She seemed like she really enjoyed my company, too. Based on the fact that I'm attracted to her, and I'm not attracted to Jake anymore, I think I'm probably bi. What do you guys think I should do to figure this all out? Hey guys, my name is Janet, and when I was younger, I didn't want to be an only child anymore. But unfortunately, that wasn't going to happen. When I asked my parents about it, which in itself was kind of scary because my parents were never really emotional people. For example, they're the ones who don't even congratulate you when you get a perfect score on a test, or they don't understand why it made you sad that they couldn't attend your piano recital. Yeah, that's kind of how they are. So they were a little bit robotic when I asked them. Just too objective. I mean, trying to explain the loneliness that I feel and the want for a sibling that I have is like trying to teach poetry to a calculator. But the conversation went all right. They did seem to understand. They explained that it was hard for my mom to get pregnant in the first place with me due to a condition that she has that I may too have. Being told that I might not be able to have children one day was hard enough news, not to mention that I probably couldn't have a sibling. I would have asked them about adoption, but I wasn't in a logical mind state due to the news that they just explained to me. So I spent the rest of the night in my room, and the next day was normal. I went to school in the morning, went to my classes, left school, and went back home. I would walk home from school every day, and on the way, I passed this scary-looking old house. Nobody lived there. People in my small town always said it was haunted, and that a whole family died there after the house caught on fire. It happened back in the 70s, I think. Rumor is the family had 3 members: a mother who was kind of crazy in her later years, a husband who was a doctor that took care of her, and a newborn baby, their child. It was said that they all died in the house fire. Some people say that the wife intentionally burned the place down due to her insanity. Some say that the husband burned the house down because he was so frustrated taking care of her. I even heard that the baby did it in order to stop crying for good. But that'd be one smart baby, huh? I should mention that this could all be completely fabricated. Teenagers are good at that sort of thing. They've basically got imaginations just as good as Tolkien. But what was true is that this house looked sometimes like it was forgotten in an oven. It was basically an aesthetic nightmare. I walked past this house every day, always on the opposite side of the street. However, one day I decided to walk on the same side of the street as the house. Because, well, screw that nonsense, you know? I don't see why I've got to live in fear of people who died there, especially if they might not even exist. I'm not scared of ghost dinosaurs. So why would people in a house be different? Although ghost dinosaurs do sound pretty hardcore. Instead of making a room chilly when you walk through it, they'd be big enough to make a town chilly. That would explain Canada. Anyways, I walked past the house and I heard a crying out from somewhere in the building. At first, I got scared and ran away. But then I decided to go against my fears and see what was going on. I figured it might have just been my imagination. But it wasn't. I heard the sound again, and I needed to see what it was. I'm glad I did that. The door felt like it was going to crumble into powder when I swung it open. Inside the house, charcoal dust floated in the air, which you could still see due to how it hit the light. Light came from the windows and the cracks in the walls. There were no colors inside. It was like I had walked into a 50s grayscale movie. I heard another cry. It came from above me. I looked up at the stairway, and it looked about as stable as a bartender's marriage. But I carefully walked up, and at the top of the staircase, there was a baby. The baby was a boy. He wore nothing but a dirty diaper. Dirty not from excretion, but from ash. I almost broke down crying. I think the only thing that held back the floodgates was just pure disbelief. Complete and total shock. Who would leave a baby here, all alone? How could somebody do that to a child? I called 911, and the paramedics took him to the hospital to make sure that he was healthy. Well, I guess I got my wish after all. My parents actually decided to adopt the baby. Now his name is Jeff, and he's a pretty cool younger brother. So remember, if you ever want a sibling, the first logical step is to go search a haunted house. You never know what the ghosts will leave behind. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and comment below. Let me know what you think. Thanks, guys.